Linden. She's here for Joseph DioGuardi, who's running for US Senate. So, Britta, would you like to come up here and say a few words about Joe DioGuardi's campaign?
I'd love to. Thank you very much.
And for those of you who don't know, Joe DioGuardi is the father of Kara DioGuardi, who's a judge. I just think it's funny. American Idol.
Hi, I'm Britta. I work in Joe DioGuardi's campaign headquarters over in Ossining, just on the other side of the Hudson. And I'm going to pass around while I'm speaking a clipboard so that if you're inclined, you want to sign up to receive our campaign updates, feel free to jot down your information. If you would like to volunteer for the campaign, there's a box for you to check, so we'll call you up to help out the campaign. So I'll just start that over here with Eugene. Thank you so much, Lynn and the board, for inviting Joe to come tonight. I remember I accompanied Joe to a Rally for America meeting. It was back in, I guess, early March at a hotel, and a lot of people and media, and there was a lot of similar excitement in the room.
It was February.
It was February. It was on the eve. Joe was getting very close to announcing his candidacy for US Senate, I remember. He was just about to announce. So we've come a long way since then. And listening to what Jean and Cheryl and Lynn and what we're talking about tonight, fighting against the party powers that be, and not letting the people choose who to vote for, I can say that Joe can relate. Joe is succeeding in this U.S. Senate race in spite of the party bosses and in spite of the powers that be. Since he announced back in February, he's raised over $1 million. He has earned the nomination of the Conservative Party, and when we got to the Republican convention, shut out, forcing him to petition his way on the ballot, which is something that we're all becoming all too familiar with. So what did he do? He said, I'm going to do it. He went for it, and we went around New York State and collected 25,000 signatures, with hundreds of volunteers helping us out. 15,000 signatures were required. We got 25 in over 23 different congressional districts around New York State. It wasn't over then. They tried to challenge the petition. You couldn't just say 25,000 people signed this petition to have Joe as a choice on the ballot. They had to challenge. Well, guess what? They couldn't find anything specific because we were that good. We looked up every single name, and you know, as you are probably becoming very familiar with, you have to submit it in a certain way, and by the New York State Board of Elections, they make it really fun for you. So we did it, and as of August 9th, it will be official with the New York State Board of Elections that Joe will be on the Republican ballot on September 14th. Now, I'm sure that Joe would have liked to have been here in person to give you this good news, but Joe is touring the state. Yesterday he was in Syracuse, today he was in Rochester. When I talked to him a couple of hours ago, he was on his way to Buffalo. And what is he doing? He's meeting with business leaders and owners. These past couple of weeks, he's been touring factories, visiting dairy farms. Even got a winery tour in there that somehow I missed out on. And he's talking to these owners and these business leaders about, you know, what is it going to take to spur job creation? What is it going to take to keep businesses in New York State? What is it going to take to incentivize these businesses to compete in New York? What will it take? And Joe, as he's going around and meeting with these small business owners, and he's meeting with many Tea Party organizations and groups around the state and 912 groups as well, he's spreading his message. What is Joe's message? We're spending money we don't have. We're borrowing from countries like China, who don't share our values, and we're putting the American dream in jeopardy. What is the American dream? What is it? Freedom. Liberty.
Liberty, free markets, private property.
I thought I would get a few answers to that question. How about opportunity? Opportunity is a good one, right? And we can't have jobs without opportunity. And we can't replace opportunity with more government programs. So this message of Joe's is very simple, and that's why it's resonating. And as people get to know Joe, they realize that he is the candidate that can take back this U.S. Senate seat from the unelected Kirsten Gillibrand. Why? Because he's right. He is a conservative choice, both fiscally and socially. Fiscally, Joe was the first practicing CPA to be elected to Congress. A little fun fact there, he served 2 terms in Congress, and he was the youngest partner in Arthur Anderson, and he has been ringing the bell, sounding the alarm about government waste his entire life. And you know what, as Joe likes to say on the campaign trail, we don't need to send another lawyer to the Senate. Kirsten Gillibrand is the 57th lawyer. It's time to send a CPA to the Senate. As for social issues, you know, Joe's pro-life, pro-gun. Just this week, he received the endorsement from the Right to Life Committee. They know that he's the choice. They know that he is the one who will stand up for their values. And that's why the pro-life advocates, voters, and supporters, they helped Joe petition to get on the ballot. They're going to be there helping us get out the vote for September 14th, and they're going to be with us through the election in November to victory. The same with the gun rights advocates, supporters, and voters. They know that Joe is the strongest when it comes to our Second Amendment rights. Joe enjoyed a celebration at the Wall-Kill Rod and Gun Club this past weekend that Cheryl was kind enough to invite us to. That was a lot of fun. They love Joe. They like his message. They know that he would have their back when we elect him to Senate. And so, you know, as far as we can tell, with Joe crisscrossing the state and getting his message out, he's the one who can take this seat back for New York. But we can't do it without you, without each and every one of you, without Rally for America, without each and every grassroots organization around this state. We need all of you. Joe appreciates the support that you know, all that you do to take back America. He wants to ride this wave that you started. He wants to be the next Chris Christie. You know, who knew we could take that gubernatorial seat? Who knew we could make it happen in Massachusetts? And I got relatives in Barney Frank's district in Massachusetts, so I was more surprised than probably anybody in this room that actually happened. So Joe can be the next. Anything's possible. We can do it in New York. Enough of government encroachment on the private sector. Enough of party corruption. Enough of party bosses telling you who you can choose to vote for. Enough of one-party rule. It's time for some checks and balances. It's time to take back the Senate in Albany and in Washington, and we can do it with your help. So I encourage you to sign up on the sheet that's being passed around the room, and I will stick around for any questions that you might have. And thank you very much for your time tonight.